Grayson Bruce has a problem. He's 9 years old and he rather likes My Little Pony just a little bit more than is absolutely necessary. The North Carolina boy, well, he did bring a My Little Pony backpack to school, but the school has now banned the thing because they think it's, quote, too girly for him and a, quote, trigger for bullying. Now, this decision didn't come out of nowhere because the poor little kid was indeed bullied. Other young people were calling him names and even beating him up, though beating up, I'm not sure what a 9-year-old means by being beaten up, so we just don't really know.
If you watch the show, it's really not that girly.
It's become anything but friendship for 9-year-old Grayson Bruce.
They're taking it a little too far with, you know, punching me and pushing me down, calling me horrible names, stuff that really shouldn't happen.
Grayson picked this backpack.
This is Rainbow Dash,
Which he says has intensified the attacks against him. He understands why some kids call him names.
Most of the characters in the show are girls, and the fact that people really put it towards girls. Most of the toys are girly.
I'm just looking up context for therapists for that kid in about 15 years. Now, the school justified their decision by explaining that they wanted to, and I'm quoting them, immediately address a situation that had created a disruption in the classroom, end of quote. Okay, I understand that. The little fella with the little pony fetish admitted that, as you saw, they're taking it a little too far with, you know, punching me and pushing me down, calling me horrible names, stuff that really shouldn't happen. I don't know what he means by a little too far, though. I'm not really sure. Maybe they should just tie him up and put him in the washroom or something like that. I'm not being callous, but the school got this wrong. The villains here are the bullies. The victim is young Grayson. The solution to punks beating up a kid is not to make the kid change his actions, but to punish the bullies. It's a backpack with a little pony on it, not a racist T-shirt or a replica gun. But the reason he stands out is because, well, it's not altogether normal for a boy of that age to be a fan of My Little Pony and to be given and to carry a My Little Pony backpack. I mean, if you're a fan when you're 12, well, what happens when you're in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s?
My little pony, my little pony.
I'm shocked and amazed at the fandom that's grown out of the show. I can't believe the size of it. I can't believe who it is. I think it's wonderful.
Sorry. Which brings us to the other problem here, and that's the parents. Let me rephrase that, the mum, because no dad has been mentioned anywhere at all. If her child likes My Little Pony, she may have a concern or two. I'm not talking about his sexuality, by the way. But that's for mum and child to work out in private. He's 9. He's a little boy, doesn't have much, if any, money, so don't buy him a My Little Pony backpack or tell him that when he goes to school he should take a backpack without anything on it. I mean, just, I don't know, have a baseball team or a football team or just plain not My Little Pony. Even the hardest, most dedicated Little Pony fan can surely survive the day and still be a zealous devotee without this bloody backpack. What was mum thinking? Was mum thinking at all? Look, it's not really the issue itself, but it's the parents and kids and family. It's the cult of the self, isn't it? I know why the school did what they did, and in many ways they're acting responsibly, but it's not their job. We live in an age when Junior can do no wrong, parents don't parent, lines aren't drawn. It's all about what we want rather than what we need, and our rights rather than our responsibilities. And sorry, but fathers, they matter, and they're so often so absent from the scene. It really matters. Yes, it really matters. So who would have thought that incredibly cute little ponies with delightfully colourful bodies, gorgeous manes, and a unique and touching symbol on one of their sides, of their flanks, could cause... Sorry, I'm getting a bit carried away. Now, where's my backpack?
I was thinking we could do a special breezy cheer. I love cheers! But these cheers should be quiet cheers. We don't want to startle them. They need to be able to concentrate. Why don't we try it? You can do it, Breezies. You can do it, Breezies!
This is my confused look My Little Pony, My Little Neurosis. How sweet.
Saying a lunchbox is a trigger for bullying, you might as well say a short skirt is a trigger for rape.
No wonder that kid is so troubled. No, you can't, lady. Get a grip. Andrew Lawton, talk radio host in London, Ontario. He's a fine fellow. Are you a My Little Pony fan, Andrew?
No, I'm not. But interestingly, in the course of following this story, I learned that My Little Pony is a Canadian export. So we can probably thank some Canadian arts grants for what Grace and Bruce is going through.
My golly, a Canadian moment, a CBC Heritage moment. I can just imagine it. We could have... Who would play the role of the pony? Actually, I think I probably know who will. Is this an ugly rumour, or do you think the school acted correctly here?
You know, look, Michael, I think there's two ways of looking at this. I don't see this as a freedom of speech issue, as a lot of people do. I see this as an issue of a school acting immediately to deal with a problem that was rearing its ugly head and potentially endangering this person's physical well-being in that moment. I think that what you said in your monologue is spot on, Michael. Look, I have to seriously question the kind of the sense and intellect of his mother for not maybe nipping this in the bud before it got to school and saying, look, it's okay if you like this show, it's okay if you want to express your appreciation for the show, but kids are mean and kids might bully you, and maybe it's not the best idea to bring a My Little Pony backpack to school.
How old is this boy?
9 years old.
Yeah, I said that in the monologue, and as I was saying it, I thought, is he really... Because he's quite mature and fairly articulate for his age. But if he likes the show, I don't get it. I mean, I have to say, I just don't understand. And all these adults, I mean, the guy with the horse's head on, I mean, that's just freaky, man. But if he likes it, that's entirely up to him. But when he goes to school... You have to adapt to society. School teaches you lessons, not just about education, but how to be part of a greater group of people. You know you will be bullied. I mean, you don't have kids, Andrew. I've seen 4 children through school. Kids can be extremely unpleasant. They can bully for anything at all. And if you lock the door at home, it doesn't stop there because there's social media. The mother knows this. Just say, look, go to school with a different backpack. I don't know, whatever you want. But when you come home, you can play Little Pony all night long, but just be more aware. She's the culprit here. She should be responsible.
Well, she really is, and I feel bad for the kid because he genuinely is being caught in the middle of this big battle here. But, you know, Michael, I think the biggest problem is that this whole culture of telling kids you can be who you want, you can like what you want, you can love who you want, and so on and so forth, it's effective to a point. But the problem is what we aren't telling kids is that doesn't mean everyone else will embrace you. That doesn't mean everyone else will love who you are. And look, when it comes down to it, I feel that bullying is wrong. The school needs to act on bullying. And though I don't have children, I know what it's like to be relentlessly bullied. Yeah. And if you make yourself a target, I'm sorry, you are going to be bullied. And in many cases, it will turn physical, as we've heard it has for Grayson.
Yeah, I can't imagine that he goes to a school where kids are going to be threatening to knife him because he has a backpack with My Little Pony. He's 9 years old and so on. But he's not enjoying his life. But this is interesting. Instead of dealing with the issue, suddenly the mother has media all over the house. This is so typical of the problem. It isn't, how can we make life better for you? Sit down and chat about this. Take a different backpack. It is, let's call the media. You know the mother's the problem. And the school, instead of saying to her, lady, you have to change, they've taken over the parenting.
Yeah, and you know, I am a firm opponent of school replacing the role of the parent, but it's undeniable that when a child is at school during those school hours, the school has an opportunity and an obligation to protect that child's safety. And if there is bullying going on, I would like to believe the school isn't just going to say, yeah, leave the backpack at home and everything will be fine. They are investigating it. As we have heard from the school, they are trying to get to the bottom of who's behind it, what's happened, and deal with the issue of... No, seriously, Michael, if bullying is going on, and in this boy's mind it has been violent, and I would like to assume he's not making that up, the school obviously has to deal with that, but a first step is don't wear the backpack if this is becoming probably and understandably what the school calls a trigger for bullying.
Yeah. Well, what we heard just before we went to air, actually, is that he may not now, his mother has said, don't take the backpack to school, but she is sending him dressed as Princess Leia from Star Wars, so all should be fine. Andrew, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Michael.